Sometimes in life you'll hear an idea that sounds so stupid you can't possibly think something good can come out of it. I'm sure if you clicked on this video you probably go to the cinema as much as I do. So you'll know the feeling that every now and then there will be a trailer for a movie and the first thought you'll get is that it looks like the type of fake movie that would be in a real movie to poke fun at projects with less effort put into them. A couple of weeks ago, back if you were on film Twitter, you probably saw the trailer for the Hershey's movie, which yes, is in fact a real movie coming out, but it strikes that note in your brain that tells you it can't possibly be the case. Well, I gotta admit, this was initially how I felt about the Sheep Detectives when I first saw the trailer for it. Topped off with that, it's been advertised heavily as being directed by the same guy who did the Minions movie, so that alone didn't give me high hopes for it. Then, when early reviews came out from everyone's favourite unrefutable website, Rotten Tomatoes, and it got this high of a rating, I thought surely the producers are paying people off to get this kind of reaction. Then right after that, I saw people on Twitter start praising the fuck out of it. That's when I stopped in my tracks for a second. To be fair, film Twitter is kind of a cesspool, just like all of Twitter now that I think about it. But everyone on this side of Twitter tends to have opinions, to say the least. Some are good, some are bad, and there's a notable trend of people overhyping pretty much every single new movie that is coming out, so I thought this was another one of those cases. So I had to see for myself. The Sheep Detectives is a mystery comedy film directed by Kyle Balda. It stars Hugh Jackman, Braun, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Bryan Cranston, and many others. The plot follows a shepherd who reads detective novels to his beloved sheep every night, assuming they can possibly understand. But when a mysterious incident disrupts life on the farm, the sheep realize they must become the detectives. As they follow clues and investigate human suspects, they prove that even sheep can be brilliant crime solvers. I'm going to start with the performances in this movie, leading with Hugh Jackman, who's known for his roles in movies like X-Men and Prisoners. I'll be honest, I think the marketing of this movie is doing a lot of heavy lifting for Jackman, as obviously from what the trailers give away, he plays the shepherd of the sheep that's killed so the plot can get going. He's more of a character that haunts the narrative. He's the Laura Palmer of the Sheep Detectives here. For the time he has on screen, he does fine and believable job of being charismatic, showing off his tender side towards the abundance of CGI sheep. And there's a very brief moment where Jackman pulls off his stoic, tough guy persona, but it's only for a very short period that feels like a bit of a wink and a nod to the audience, as they know what the guy is mainly known for. Braun is in this movie too. He's known for movies like Saturday Night and Sky High, but is mainly known for starring in the TV show Succession. I liked Braun in this movie. He does a very good job at acting like a complete idiot, which is funny because he essentially does the same thing in Succession, go figure. There's this awkwardness to him that is a good level of endearing and cringe, but not in a derogatory way in this case. I think out of all the cast, he was the actor that had the most consistent funny line ratings throughout the thing. I just want to see the guy in more projects in the future, honestly. Molly Gordon is in this movie too. Gordon is known for her roles in movies like Booksmart and Good Boys, and is also known for appearing in the TV show The Bear. She's fine in this. She does a good job at acting endearing while maybe hiding something, especially behind her eyes. I thought she did good there especially. Equal to Braun, she has her moments of awkwardness, but this is very rare as she tries to keep this headstrong manner throughout the runtime. Bryan Cranston provides one of the voices of the sheep in this movie. Cranston is known for his roles in movies like Little Miss Sunshine and Drive. It was a surprise to see Cranston in this movie. I thought it was interesting and kind of funny that he's playing the role that thematically is pretty similar to the voice performance he had in Isle of Dogs, as his character in this movie had him playing a stoic type of character that's very closed off from the other sheep. His character is devoid of humor. He isn't really given anything funny to do as he's playing into the more dramatic side, as he does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the emotional element of this movie, which was very interesting to see. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in this movie too as part of the voice cast here. Dreyfus is known for her roles in movies like Hannah and Her Sisters and A Bug of Life. She did a good job at leading the voice cast in this. She basically is the main protagonist here. She carries herself with this headstrong manner while balancing a good deal of whimsy, as her character has a naivety of the outside world. It could be interesting to see her growth throughout the runtime of this. She has a way of making her voice sound endearing enough for you to easily feel sympathetic towards her character. Chris O'Dowd is in this movie too. O'Dowd is known for his roles in movies like Loving Vincent and The Double. O'Dowd is one of the major comedic roles in this movie. He provides a lot of dry humor as he's allowed to voice the character with his normal accent, which I believe elevates a lot of his line readings, as even if not all the jokes themselves land or are particularly well written, I think he does a good job at still making them humorous. He also does a good job at bringing levity to some of the more emotional moments of the movie, as he provides the voice talents to bring some earnest sympathy to some situations that happen throughout the runtime. There are other celebrity voices that are used for the sheep, but throughout the movie they aren't particularly used all too much. For example, comedic actor Rhys Darby provides one of the voices of the sheep in the movie, and he's maybe given one or two standout funny moments, but other than that, I think he's kind of underutilized. A similar thing happens with Patrick Stewart in this movie. Pretty cool that he's here. He's given one or two comedic moments, but overall doesn't have a major memorable impact on the cast. I gotta say, this thing surprised me. For starters, at the helm of this movie lies a pretty decent, very standard murder mystery, and what's funny is the movie is aware of that. There's this self-aware angle that is essentially saying to the audience, we're aware this type of story is done to death and it's very tropey, and we're gonna follow it very standardly. I think I would have preferred if a movie like this could do something interesting to take a subversive spin on the genre. With this being a family film, I understand why it was probably easier for the filmmakers to just take the easy route and follow the formula of a murder mystery. This thing basically acts as Baby's first Knives Out movie. That being said though, it falls into the trap of having a decently sized ensemble cast while not really having anything interesting to do with its list of suspects. They're all here to be red herrings, but they never actually make a huge impact to the story or overall really have a hand in thwarting the mystery happening to cause more suspense, which I suppose is due to this, again, being a family film. But when I say this movie surprised me, it isn't for that aspect at all. It's actually more so for how dark this thing gets at times. I'm gonna explain why that's actually a good thing. So I walked into this movie expecting some stupid fucking kids movie. I mean, they marketed it as the same director as Minions, but throughout the runtime there are extended scenes of mainly the sheep characters having very real existential talks about death, and it's written in a way that never talks down to its younger audience. This is so emotionally mature for a family film. It does a good job at explaining how death works in a way that I think wouldn't scare any kids, but it also has a message of not repressing trauma to the idea of burying it down so deep that you force yourself to forget it, and it'll do more harm to yourself than good, which I think is a pretty good life lesson for a younger audience to have and to learn. And if they learn it through this movie, more power to them. I think I'm just proud of the writers for doing this. None of the darker moments are rarely ever undercut with stupid jokes. They usually leave the somber moments time to simmer before ramping things back up again. It does a good job at balancing humor and drama really well for something with the type of concept that this movie has. Next I want to talk about cinematography in this movie. The cinematography here was done by George Steele, who's done cinematography for movies like Peaky Blinders and The Immortal Man and Wild Rose. I thought this movie was shot pretty well. There isn't a huge abundance of special camera techniques used here, but what sticks out more is how well the movie is color graded. There's great attention to color in this movie, especially when it comes to the human characters are wearing, which was really nice to see. There's some pretty good lighting choices too, which add dramatic flair for scenes that ask for this aspect. An aspect that stuck out to me most, however, was a couple of well done editing choices, specifically some transitions that happen pretty early on in the movie. There's some very well done transitions, one that blends the past with the present very seamlessly in an instant, and another which is activated through a light that had me locked in as soon as it happened. I was perked up in my seat seeing that transition happen in real time. Finally, I want to talk about the music of this. The score of this movie was composed by Christophe Beck, who's done music for movies like The Hangover and Crazy Stupid Love. The music in this movie for the most part is very whimsical, which is pretty standard for a family film. There's some strong string instrumentation whenever there's emotional scenes in this that almost go too hard, honestly. It does a lot to tug on the heartstrings for how much soul is put into these tracks, and honestly, I gotta respect that. With all that being said, I enjoyed this movie a lot than I thought I would. It's nice that so close together we've gotten family films that want to try promote strong messages to its younger kids in the audience. It's always nice to see something with this much effort be brought out among all of the slop that gets released. While I didn't mention it as its own segment, I also thought the CGI in this movie was alright looking. It wasn't an abomination on the eyes or anything, it was pretty serviceable, and I liked that they made the faces of the sheep pretty expressive at times. This is an inoffensive movie. At least I think it is. I haven't heard any dipshit parents complain about the dark elements in this. You know, come to think of it, that doesn't really happen that much more anymore, does it? I can't remember the last time time I see an idiot, mainly American parents complain about aspects of a movie. Maybe not enough people go to the movies anymore for that to happen, which is pretty sad to think about when you think about it. This is one of those movies that as a concept is funny with how it's been handled. You almost, as an adult, can't recommend this movie without immediately being laughed at. You need to constantly express that this is a good movie with a very well made script. So hopefully this video, if anyone watches it, is another 2 cents in convincing people. I'm giving The Sheep Detectives 3.5 stars. This is a thoroughly entertaining family film with a cast that provides good and even some memorably comedic performances throughout the runtime. It features themes that are pretty heavy, but I feel are important for younger audience members in a family to experience in such a well-made movie. Along with that, it's a pretty good whodunit and would be a good start for someone who wouldn't be familiar with the genre before watching this one. There's certainly worse films you could and most likely shouldn't show your kids. I'm not aware if there's any really bad ones currently running in theaters, so you should absolutely take them to this one, as this movie is currently running in cinemas, so you should go to your local cinema as soon as possible and check this out, because this movie, like any movie, deserves to be seen on the big screen.